Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla, and I say it so often, y'all. Tesla does what Tesla does, right? We closed at 313.51, and as you can see, we've made a pre-market high thus far of 317.99, which is kind of having some trouble. We had some trouble in an area right here. We kind of knew we could possibly have trouble. I like to mark those simple support and resistance, right? So where are the trouble places? This area here, I would say support is around, as of now, the 316.50. However, this was the area here at the 315.96. So definitely need to watch this area should it come back to the downside. Let's say that as of now, support is at the 316.60. Resistance having trouble at the 317.61. Breaking that 317.93, 318.26, 318.85, 319.62, 320.04, 320.30, not very far away, breaking that 320.64. And should we break that, 321.21 could be a possible area of rejection for Tesla. Now let's say back to the downside under this 316.50 area. We can come back to the 315.96, which puts us back in that zone that we were trading in here. Breaking that level, we can come back to around the 315.43 and breaking that 314.90. Breaking that level, you see the 50 EMA 313.96 is right at the level that I have marked it around the 313.86, not far away. The ATR trailing stop is right at a line that I have here at 313.45. I like to see those. Now breaking that, we could very well come back to around the 312.82, 312.57, 312.11, and again here at 311.50. So if you are trading Tesla today, those are possible areas of support. Now breaking at 311.50, we could very well come back to this zone here, which is around the 310.07. So I say trade carefully, y'all. In this market, anything is possible, right? Nothing is guaranteed. So let's look at the SPY today. Looks as if we close at 623.62. We had a pre-market low of 619.86, bounce from there only to come to this zone here to find support. We've been here, right? Support was around the 621.53, bounce from there. Looks like we had some trouble at the 200 EMA. That's a rejection area for us as of now. So y'all know I always say where are the trouble places. We'll need to get back above this area here around the 622.35. If we should break that, we could possibly have trouble again. 622.85. There's a lot of resistance here for the SPY, in my opinion, at this 622.85 up to the 623.03. Should we break that 623.03 area, we could possibly have trouble 623.25, 623.50, 623.95, and again here 624.47, and breaking that somewhere around the 624.90. Breaking that 624.90, we could very well come back to the 625.88 and possibly have trouble. So those are areas of rejection or resistance areas for the SPY. Let's look to the downside. Say for instance we break under this 621.53 area here, we could very well come back to around the 621.10, breaking that level 620.95. And if we should break that 620.66, 620.46, 620.29, and breaking that brings us back to around the 619.96, and breaking that level 619.75. And again, y'all, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places could be, right? So these are areas of support and resistance for the SPY. Again, y'all, not financial advice. So if the SPY is something that you trade today, I say it often, trade carefully. So we are looking at NVDA. We close at 164.92, and it seems to be trading sideways. And it's interesting, right? Because we had a high here of 167.89. I'm going to mark that because I've yet to, yes, this is a high that I need to remember. And I'm going to mark this zone here that we have been trading in here. it seems as if price was having trouble in this area here, right? So where are the trouble places for NVIDIA? We need to get back above this 165.16. If we should, we could possibly have trouble again around the 165.60. Breaking that brings us back to around the 165.97, and y'all see the ATR trailing stop is at the 166.10. Now breaking that level, we could very well have trouble again around the 166.52, and breaking that, something stopped us where buyers and sellers met right here at the 167.37. Now should we break this level, we could very well come back to the 167.89. So those are possible areas of rejection as of now for NVIDIA. Now back to the downside, say for instance we break under the 165.16, we could very well come back to this area around the 164.86 area. Something held us up here, right? 164.86. Should we break that, we could very well come back to the 164.42 and breaking that level 164.12. Should we break that, we could come back to around the 163.74. Why? Because something right there. I'm looking at the body of the candle here under that 163.73. We could very well come back to around 163.37, 163.04, which is not far from the 200 EMA at the 162.95 as of now. Breaking that 162.95 for NVIDIA today, we can come back to this 162.56, which puts us back in this area here. So under that 162.56 area, y'all see the next level that I have marked is down here at the 160.99. Keep in mind, anything can stop us out in this area here. That's why it's important that we pay very close attention to our, the candles, and pay attention to what's going on with the market, what's going on with the chart, with the everything. Pay very close attention. I needed to say that today. So let's go to AMD today just to see where we are. We closed at 146.42, and it seems as if we were trading in this gathering spot here. I always go to that immediately. Where is the gathering spot, right? Trouble places for AMD as of right now, possibly the 146.21, breaking that level, 146.57, breaking that 147.14. Should we break that, 147.60, breaking that level, 147.97. Those are possible areas of rejection as of now for AMD. Now back to the downside, breaking this level here of 145.51 puts us under the 50 EMA and a level that I have marked here. So under this, let's say go back here, 145.51, we could possibly have trouble again, 145.12, breaking that, the ATR trailing stop as of now, 144.73. Should we break that, I have 146.6. 144.60, not very far away from that ATR trailing stop, so that could be a strong area of support as of now for AMD. Now should we break that, we could very well come back to this level, 144.29, again at 144, 143.69, 143.44, again here at 143.03. Now breaking that 144.03 area, we could very well come, I'm going to look at this here because something stopped us around this area here. I would say the 140, okay, something stopped us at the 142.57 area, and as you can see, it's really close to that 200 EMA, but I needed to remember that. So should we break that 142.57, we could very well find support again, 142.23, again at 141.80, and breaking that level, 141.41. So if AMD is something that you trade today, I say trade carefully, y'all, not financial advice, because in this market anything is possible, right? So we are now looking at Meta. We closed at 171.51, and it too seems to be trading in this gathering spot. We broke out of that only to create another small one here. Looks as if we're having trouble at this ATR trailing stop and a level that we have marked here around the 717.04. There's a lot of resistance in this area, so should we break, let's say, the 717.25 area, we've broken through a few layers of resistance. However, we could still have trouble somewhere around the 718.09 and breaking that 718.63. Should we break that, we could possibly have trouble 720, breaking that 720 for Meta today, somewhere around the 721.10, and breaking that, y'all see the 200 EMA as of now, 721.66. Now should we break break that level 722.15, it could be a possible rejection area. And then again at 722.93, breaking the 722.93, 723.81, and should we break that level 725.46, and again 726.99. So if Meta is something that you trade today, those are possible areas of rejection. Now this is our area of support as of now. 715.58, breaking that 714.77. Should we break that 713.46, and breaking that level, something stopped us here around the 712.03 area. Something stopped us here. So should we break that, we can come back to around the 711.27, and breaking that brings us back to around the 709.74 here. Something again stopped us around this area. So should we break that, we could very well come back to around the 708.27, and breaking that 708.27 for Meta, 706.48 and 705.50. So if Meta is something that you trade today, y'all know I say it often, trade carefully. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. So we did have a few inside day candles, and y'all, I like to look at those only because it kind of helps build our watch list, and it gives us something, you know, if it reached this target, this is the possible, or if we break through this level, this is the possible target. So IP, or international paper, is an inside day candle for today. Breaking, if we should break the 52.68, we could possibly have trouble 52.87. Now breaking under the 51.53, we could possibly have trouble, you know, reach the target of 51.38 or 51.33. Let me rephrase that. So if we break under 51.53, downside target is 51.33. So international paper is an inside day candle. Kroger is an inside day candle for today. Above 71.60 gives us a target of 71.23. Now to the downside, under $70.03, we have a downside target today for Kroger at $69.71. So if Kroger is something that you trade today, I said often, y'all, trade carefully. Marvell, MRVL, is also an inside day candle today. Above 73.20, upside target 73.61. To the downside, under 72.12, which we've been finding it's kind of like a support at that area. 72.12, we have a downside target for Marvell at 71.33. So if Marvell is something that you trade today, I say trade carefully, y'all. Palantir is on the list today as an inside day candle. Above 144.56, we have an upside target of 145.37. Now to the downside, under 141.43, we have a downside target today, 139.48. And it looks as if here it's trading in a gathering spot for us, so it could move in either direction. I said that to say it could move in either direction. So I say, look, this is what I see when I look at the market. I say it often, y'all, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you, and then for us to have the discipline to execute that plan, right? So make sure you set your stop losses or whatever it is that you choose to use. Just have the discipline to get in at the right time and out at the right time. So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very productive day today. Again, if you could, please like, share, subscribe. Y'all, we learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.